Good afternoon and welcome to Brave Embrace. This is a safe place where we gather to honor and recognize the brave in each of us. Have you heard the term, defender of the defenseless, victor for the victim, superhero? That's what I think of when I think of the work done by the law firm D. Miller and Associates. And today I have with me the founder, the one and only Mr. Darren Miller. Welcome.
Hi, Kim. How are you?
I'm fabulous because I'm so honored to have you here today. You have created this place, the safe platform for me to honor and share the stories of survivors now for nearly a year. And so I'm thrilled to have you with me today.
Kim, it's great to be here. I love the work that you're doing. And quite frankly, I don't know why people have not done this before.
I know. I really enjoy honoring the work that our survivors have gone through to move out of victimization and the hurt and move into hope and healing. And because of the work of your firm, actually, there are thousands of people that have been able to experience that restoration. And I just want to thank you. Since 2002, you've been working to be a voice to those without a voice. I just thank you for that. And tell me, what gave you the strength and the desire to have such impact in people's lives?
Well, Kim, very honestly, first of all, thank you for the accolades. I appreciate it. I'm very fortunate to have a great team here at the firm, including yourself, to do some of the work that we do. But very honestly, Kim, I didn't really understand or comprehend what was going on with these types of cases and these types of situations. And I just had no idea how bad the problems were. I just didn't. Very honestly, Kim, I was ignorant. And I thought, much like many other folks, it's like, okay, well, that happened, get over it and move on. I had no clue until I started listening to the different stories and the pain and the hurt that people were going through, how deeply rooted these issues are. And I just figured we've got to do something differently to get at the root of these issues. And so that's why we kind of started, and that's where it's kind of built from there.
Well, recently, one of your lead attorneys, the lead litigation attorney, Andy Rubenstein, was able to work towards a settlement. Actually, it's the largest of its kind, correct? A $1.1 billion settlement to bring restoration and healing to victims of the USC crisis with Dr. Tyndall. You've put together an incredible team. You've got your founding partner, Ramesh Ragudaman. You've got Rochelle Guyton. You have so many, 8, right, attorneys fighting for causes like this. Tell me what that feels like when you can achieve such success and healing for people.
Well, when we started the USC case, it was when we got that first call in, we had no idea kind of what we were dealing with and how deeply rooted the issues were. Because again, when you're talking about a storied university such as USC, one of the greatest universities in the country, there's just no way that issues of this nature should occur. And then when you understand how systemic it was, and the fact that these issues and problems with the doctor were going on for decades, where young ladies were being abused, and the school knew about it and did nothing to protect their students. Mm-hmm. It's just absolutely unheard of. And so initially when we started, it was myself, Andy, and Ramesh, and it was just like, guys, we got to get in on this. We have to figure out what's going on here, and why did this happen, and how real is this, and how big is this problem? And just as we started just kind of pulling off the different layers, it just got deeper and deeper and deeper. And we knew we needed help. We knew that after at the time I was speaking to each one of the victims that I called them then. Now I'm educated to know that they are survivors. That I did my best to speak with them and talk with them. But many of their issues were so deep rooted and going back for so long. They needed professionals like yourself, people with compassion, people with understanding. And so, as great as Ramesh and Andy and myself are, we know we needed other parts to the system that you've talked about to make this work. And that's kind of how this started.
It is phenomenal. Really, it is so progressive in my eyes because you have put together a team of amazing litigators, but then you also have medical experts, you have social workers, you have an advocate, you have people that are willing and trained, the case managers that you have set up training for so they can understand the trauma that these survivors have gone through. And I think as a father, and I know many of your staff have daughters, when you look at them going through that experience, you set out to change the way that this happened. You guys even worked to change the law. Is that correct?
Yeah, we absolutely did change the law up there. When we started this whole situation, I mean, USC was somewhat cavalier with regards to their responses because, we're protected by the statute of limitations. And so many of the cases happened so long ago, you can't bring them forward. Well, we had to do something about that. And that's when we got involved with the legislature. We got involved with several, very important folks down there to let them know what was going on and to let them know that many of our clients were not going to see justice because, as the defense pointed out, you're beyond the statute of limitations, so we don't have to do anything about it. That is wrong. That is wrong. Not only for financial reasons, but part of the process with regards to these survivors was to have their day in court, to be able to, address their accuser and to point the finger and let them know, yes, this was wrong. This should never have happened. And luckily, we got the right folks involved so that we did get the law changed so that Dr. Tyndall and USC did have their day of reckoning as related to this situation. Something else I have to point out too, when we started, when our group of 2 or 3 clients grew into 10 and then 20 and then went into the triple digits, this problem was huge, was really, really big. And again, we knew that financially it would take care of itself, but that just wasn't enough because again, I'm lucky enough to have 4 children, 2 of which are girls. One of my girls, she wants to go to school in California. She wants to go to either USC, she wants to go to Stanford. And I said, what kind of father would I be if we just went and settled the case, just got a bunch of money, but we didn't do anything to address these deeply rooted problems? And that's what this thing is all about, is to empower folks that have been through problems to come forward, to speak about it, to let folks know that this is wrong. We're not going to sit around and allow these things to happen because it's happened for too long in too many different situations. And we've got to step forward to make change, to make sure that things like this do not keep repeating themselves.
Absolutely. The cause, not only for our society and our communities, but also for our families, to make sure that during our time here on this earth, that we are making change. And, we see that happening, these institutional abuses, these cover-ups in other, not only universities, also another situation similar at USC on the men's health side, correct? We have Boy Scout abuses in the clergy. The response, I think, of you and your team has been one that knows that with the right support and the right ear, not only can you provide a financial support and reconciliation there for your survivors, but also that, assistance in that deeply rooted pain and hurt. I really respect and honor that.
Kim, as an attorney, I love to, I give all my clients my cell phone number. Hey, call me, let me know how I can help and let me know how I can assist. And I do that all the time. If someone needs help with their rent or a question on a legal matter, that's fine. But on an issue such as this, when someone has been violated to the type of ways that we're talking about, sometimes they don't want to pick up and talk to me. They want to talk to people who are professionals, people who have been through it, people who may have the same gender, people who understand more specifically what they're going through. And so that's one of the things that we've been able to do with your help and with the rest of the team. Bring in the right folks so that even if you're not a client of this firm and you need help, you need direction, you need assistance, that's what we're here for. The money and all that's going to take care of itself. But if we need to direct you to the right program or send you in the right direction, or you just need a shoulder to cry on, that's what this thing's all about: providing support, services, assistance, direction, and quite frankly, empowerment. Just so, hey, you're doing the right thing by coming forward and talking about it and getting this out there and letting people know it's okay.
Empowerment. What a strong word that is encouraging, but that is also full of a little bit of fear, because I think that survivors, when they're stuck in this place of not having their voice, they feel powerless, right? And very unempowered. So for them to understand and realize and really be wrapped in services from your firm, again, is not only progressive, I think it is setting such a high standard for the way things should be. I see you and your teams involved in litigation in all kinds of areas in this institutional abuse situations that's been happening with the troubled teen industry, and like Glen Mills School, and like I addressed Boy Scouts and things before. Your ability to see these situations as climbable mountains where you're going to stand at the top with a flag and say, we have conquered this and we are there for your support, is phenomenal. Tell me, what does the word hope mean to you?
Hope. Wow, that's a great question. Opportunity. Opportunity to provide help, to provide assistance, to help folks to get out of their shell, provide direction. I just think, Kim, when you're in a position of, authority, power, whatever you want to call it, I think you have a responsibility to help others. I've been helped so much to get where I am today. And so I think that anytime that we can help and assist others to get out from under, especially in situations where many times their own family doesn't understand what they're going through, they're telling them, oh, that happened so long ago, just leave it alone. Don't bring that up. It's going to embarrass us. Well, the survivors need to understand it's not about the spouse. It's not about what the family might think. It's about them. It's about helping them get back to where they need to be. It's about providing that hope, for letting them know it's okay and it can be better. It's supposed to be better. What can we do to help you get better? And that's what it's all about. Someone provided me hope, so it's our job to help others provide that same hope for them.
That is such an approachable message. And that's why I'm thrilled to call you my boss and to work under you. And the thing that I want to share is that messaging is consistent across all of your platforms. Recently, your amazing marketing team had great posts about not only sexual abuse and sexual assault in the school districts, but also ways to speak and ways to find your voice. You had your attorneys making videos, you had tips on what to look for. I just found that to be very supportive of that underlying message that's so consistent. When your people are looking at your messaging, they are seeing that from your heart and soul, from one end of your business to the other. And I really appreciate that.
Kim, it was just amazing to me when we got involved in USC and had a couple of clients, and the numbers just swelled. And then when we started getting contacted with regards to our Boy Scout cases, and then the Glen Mills cases and the other sexual assault cases that are going on, this is a universal problem. It is out there everywhere, and I think it's our job to get it out, to get the message out there, that speak up about these issues, to talk about it, to not allow these people, whoever they are, to continue to take advantage of folks. And we've got to get the message out there. The more that we can talk about it and empower people and direct them with regards to what the standards are and what is okay and what's not okay, and what to do when something doesn't happen that's not right, the more we have a chance for things in the future to get better than where they were. We can't allow these things to continue that have been bad just because that's the way it was. It's time for us to stand up, to fix things, to empower survivors, and to do what we can just to get that message out there to anyone that just needs that, anyone who can hear our voice.
Right. And again, back to that empowerment, in that people can see that there is a way through their pain, I believe. I heard you use a term recently, social fraud, and it struck me as such a powerful way to sum up the violations that have been occurring at such high levels. We even saw it recently, with a state, and the governor had to resign due to some things. It's just knowing that the voices can be heard, and that there's empowerment. So explain to me like how it works in these kind of mass tort cases. Just an overview for people watching that don't understand how these things move forward when there's mass survivors as a part of the case.
That's a great question. It starts from the very beginning with us just doing some exhaustive work to speak with those potential survivors with regards to what was your situation, what happened, and just kind of questioning them with regards to that situation, and talking with them, and okay, what can we do to assist you, and what is your current situation, just to make sure that they're reasonably stable and they've got a decent support group, just to make sure everything is okay from that perspective. Then after we investigate a situation and we deem it to be something that we want to take a look at in terms of investigating, then we get involved. We ask questions, we investigate, we hire private investigators if necessary to find out what's going on, how did this occur, talking to other folks with regards to the allegations that our clients have put forward. Unfortunately, many times we're finding out that it's not just one survivor, it's many times many. And you mentioned the term social fraud, because what we found is that it became almost commonplace, or it was very normal. Okay, this is what the doctor's going to do. So, okay, let me step out and allow him to do his thing and wait for the next patient to come on. To me, that's fraud. You have a responsibility to report that issue, to say something, to say, no, I'm not going to allow this to happen. You're not going to do this anymore. And had people stepped in from the very beginning, we wouldn't have thousands of survivors that we would be dealing with. We would have a much less, a smaller number. So kind of getting back to the situation there, or what we typically do after that is, after we've investigated, we've provided clients some support services if necessary. Then we'll contact the defense team or the potential offender to find out, okay, what's your side of the story? This is what our client is saying. What's your feeling on this? And most of the time, as you can well imagine, no, that didn't happen. They're lying and everything else. And then we continue digging. Then if necessary, then we'll, like we did in this case, we file a lawsuit. That way, we're able to go through a process called discovery. We're able to actually give them real questions, and they're forced to provide us with information. And they can't just come back and say, well, that didn't happen, and deny things. If they deny things and under the guise of a lawsuit, there's obviously fraudulent penalties and things of that nature where they have to be truthful, and if they don't, it can cost them. As we continued with this particular situation, unfortunately, there were just more and more and more survivors that got involved. And as more survivors got involved with many different attorneys involved, then we decided, instead of kind of doing this separately and having all these hundreds of different lawsuits moving forward on different dockets, is to consolidate it and to do it in kind of a mass tort action, whereas the judge will consolidate, bring it into the same or a similar docket, and we can kind of do things in a way to save money, energy, and time in terms of going through this process, so we can share information together and find out whether it's something that's not real or real in a similar state. So that's kind of the overview with regards to how a mass tort lawsuit starts, and that's how we kind of started with the USC case.
That's really helpful information. I appreciate that. I know a lot of our viewers are maybe newer to the civil side of the justice system and don't quite understand how that works. Sometimes it's working at the same time as the criminal side of the system. Is that correct? So there could be charges filed criminally as
Yes.
well as, okay. Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely correct, Kim. The criminal side, obviously, we're not that much involved in that. That's up to the DA's office and the law enforcement to kind of do their thing, which we many times would inquire, hey, DA, you have 400 women here making these same allegations against this sorry bastard. Are you going to do anything? And it's just kind of funny how it took years and years and years for it to finally happen, for him to get arrested and for that to take care of itself. But one thing I also want to say this that's kind of crucially important. When we move forward with a sexual assault case, again, we know that in many situations, as you know, Kim, many people are reluctant to move forward. Many people, well, gosh, I don't want people to know about this. I don't want my name out there anymore. I've been victimized already as related to this situation and the incident itself. And gosh, maybe this litigation will put me through a whole nother process that I don't want to have happen to me. Something very important that I do want to say that many of our clients exercise was the fact that, hey, when the clients decided, yes, I want to move forward with the suit, I want to go after this bastard for what he did to me, they did not have to put their names on the litigation. What we did was did something, it's called filing a Jane Doe lawsuit, whereas we're protecting the anonymity of the client just to make sure that the neighbors and the law enforcement or whoever doesn't have access to it, so they don't go after our client again to ask questions or do this, that, and the other or whatnot. And it was an interesting dynamic, Kim, that you may be interested in, where some clients were like, yeah, my husband doesn't really know. I haven't really told my family, so I want to move forward, but please protect my name. But then there was other folks it was kind of very interesting, whereas I've been hiding long enough. I haven't felt the need to come out and speak about this. Now I want to speak. Now I want to go after him. I want my name on that litigation. I want to fight. And it's just so fulfilling to be the soldier out there helping that person move their fight down the field. So it was kind of an interesting dynamic. And Kim, I'm sure you felt that same way as you spoke with many of the clients.
Absolutely. And what I heard from that is that you're offering that empowerment, but you're meeting them where they are. And that is like you're really the legal hero, offering them that support as a soldier, as a warrior, but in response to where they are in their process. That's outstanding. And it's really profound to let our communities know that there's that kind of help. It sounded very protective, which I really respect and hear. You're right. As a survivor, knowing, unfortunately, too well what it's like to be cross-examined and deposed and just all of the things that go along with it. But to know that not only in partnering with a firm like D. Miller and Associates, you're getting that support and that protection as well. I love that.
You know what, Kim? Look, I feel as though I'm a warrior for our clients, right? I'm a warrior, but sometimes they don't need a warrior. Sometimes they need someone They want to go out there and be the warriors, right? And that's absolutely fine. So as the attorney, you know, you, what attorneys who would choose to do this and choose to get involved in this type of work have to do, the first thing they have to do is take the time to listen to your client. What does your client need? What are they asking for? What is it that they want to do? Because it's not about you. Oh yeah, let's get out there. We can do a press conference and I'm going to line up all of my survivors and I'm going to do this. No. It's not about you. It's about your clients. What is it that they want? What is it that they need? What is it that's going to move their process forward? And that's what you give them, because some of them are going to want certain things and others are not. And you cannot, again, quite frankly, one of the things that I've been really careful about over these last few years is that I'm not going to, again, victimize my clients by forcing them to do something that I want to do. No, client, it's about, here, let me show you what the alternatives are. This is what I'm thinking, but what do you think? What would you like to do? What works for you? You just listen and you take care of your clients. Kim, it's just not that difficult.
Right. And yet it seems like so many times they end up feeling re-victimized, vulnerable, afraid of the system, not feeling like they have a voice. And in turn, your process and your method allows them to have some power back. As often when you're victimized, you have been out of your power. You've lost that. Someone else has taken advantage of you. And, and sometimes these cases take many years to see some sort of finale, correct? So you are partnering with them for the long haul, right?
You have to. These kind of battles, sometimes it takes years, right? And again, one of the reasons why we assembled the team that we have with regards to the social workers and the lawyers and the former district attorneys that are now fighting the fight here with regards to leading the fight on some of these litigations, is that I tried, after listening to so many, quite frankly, awful situations that many of my clients had put themselves through, I asked myself, if I was a person who wanted help, who needed help, who wanted representation, what is it that I would need? What would that team look like? How would I kind of lay it out? And what would be the least offensive thing to my client? And while, I feel like I speak softly to folks and I'm patient with them, well, again, just the fact that I'm a male might be offensive to certain folks. So we have males, we have females, we have social workers, we have, postgraduate folks. We have, and we can give the client whatever it is that they need. And so anyone who's getting involved in this business, this is not something to play with. Mm-hmm. You're dealing with real feelings here. This is not some slip and fall case at Walgreens and looking at a few $1,000s. This is how can we help heal the client and get them the help and the services that they've been waiting for, yearning for, in many cases for many, many years. That's important. It's just not all about a paycheck. What do we do to make things better, not only for the client, but for things moving forward in the future?
Yes. Wow. And I see that you're doing that in other states with statute of limitations situations and laws, correct, on some of our other dockets. I see you and your team, head on into the fight against the opioid crisis and that epidemic and being a voice for those families or those that were lost. Really very diverse, not only in the types of cases that you represent and stand for, but also in our staff and team. And like you said, men, women, all, ages, all races. It's very diverse. Everyone, I believe, can feel a connection with someone. And I love that also. You've encouraged and instructed us all to work as a team so that it's not like, oh, this is my client I'm working with. If I feel like they might work better with one of our other case managers, then we share and we talk through. We also partner regularly with other professionals, like you said, to provide those services and close those gaps.
Correct. You mentioned the opioid crisis, and that's just particularly disgusting to me when we go through this discovery with these different companies and you see the emails and the their notes and information, and all they care about is money. And they're looking at reports that, okay, if we send out these, put all these additional drugs out there, it's going to injure and kill X amount of people, but we're going to generate hundreds of millions or billions of additional dollars. Let's go do it anyway. There's just something wrong with that culture. And I'm so proud to stand up for these families that have end up in divorce, that have lost their jobs, that have lost their lives because this company over here decided they want to make more money. I mean, I remember one particular case where a young lady, 14 years old, she broke her leg playing volleyball, went into the hospital to have surgery, started using some of the opioids just because that's what the doctor had been saying. Okay, yeah, go ahead and utilize that. Got addicted to them and ended up committing suicide because she got hooked on these drugs, although there's many other alternatives because the company wanted to make more money. What kind of society is that? It's my job. I don't want those types of things. That's going to be, it's not okay for these companies to continue to keep doing that. Mm-hmm. And they're going to be punished. And we punish the heck out of them. Not so much to address the situation as related to my client, because we can only give them some money and say, we're very sorry about what happened. But to make sure that the next company that wants to think about making this decision, holy crap, I don't want to be bankrupt. I don't want to have my company taken away from me, to make sure they make the right decisions, even if we have to force them to do so.
Yes. So I see conceptually, you're saying that just by the nature of these awards, basically, and resolutions, we're hoping to change and push the needle for other situations of that social fraud where they're thinking this is okay and they're looking at the dollar, they're looking at the wrong, end goal to go forward. And yet they're going to now know, hey, someone's going to come after you. This is not going to be acceptable. We're trying to create a different culture, as you said, in a different world where it's just simply not acceptable.
Kim, we want these companies to do one thing, and it's so simple. Do the right thing. Yeah. Do the right thing. Make some money. Go ahead and make some money. But don't do it in a way that's going to get people addicted to drugs and strung out to where they're robbing people and killing people to go get more of your drug that you're purposely trying to get people addicted to. So do the right thing, or we're going to sue you and we're going to force you to do the right thing or put you out of business.
Right, because this has affected every, walk of life, every community, urban and rural. Like you said, this is a 14-year-old athlete. That is just, it's despicable to think about that they were willing to risk a life like that and many others just for gain. And it reminds me of the gain that some of these sexual abusers are getting, and those that are turning a blind eye because that's just what you do, and how that has been allowed to perpetrate, the fabric of really who we are. There's a lot of fights that are out there. Do you ever feel weary, like emotionally, especially as a parent and as you have a wonderful devoted family and your parents, like, do you feel defeated sometimes when you see this is still happening?
No. No, Kim, I'm not going to be defeated. I cannot be defeated, because if I feel defeated, then they have a chance to win. Now, does it disappoint me to hear about these different stories? Absolutely. It's awful to hear about these new stories of different things that are unfolding across the country. It's awful. But someone has to stand up. Someone has to lead the fight. Someone has to make sure that, hey, this is how we do it. And someone has to encourage the survivors to stand, hey, it's going to be okay. We're going to do what we can to make this better. We're going to fight these bad guys. And so, look, that's my lot in life. I love it. I enjoy it. When I get to spend time with the survivors, and we get to kind of change their lives with regards to the counseling, with regards to support, with regards to, oh wow, my life has meaning now, and I feel vindicated because that bastard is in jail and you guys are doing things to help me. That brings so much joy to me because we're able to change lives and give certain survivors a chance to live out their lives as they were supposed to. I love that feeling. I love that feeling. I hope it never goes away.
Yeah, back to their original story, what was meant for them before this harm came upon them, reminding them that there is a pathway to resiliency, right? I see that in each of you. I also see that you and your executive leadership team, you put that back into your staff as well. Through programming and through abilities to talk and share with, say me, for example, you give that support also to your staff and team because they're taking on a lot of these abuses on their shoulders when they, read the reports and talk with these clients. They bear the burdens as well. So when did that kind of shift for you, or has that always been a part of your business model?
It wasn't a part of my business model, Kim, because I didn't know. I didn't know how pervasive this problem was. I didn't know how big of a deal it was. Oh, come on, suck it up. It's okay. It's not that big of a deal until you start listening to how it affected these young ladies and men with regards to this victimization. And that's like, holy crap. That's what you've been through. That's what's going on. That's what happened. And so it's like, wow. It was a total education of someone who was ignorant, and I started to understand. And so no, these things were not in place. And then, and it's a learning curve, Kim, with regards to, it's funny, we have our company downstairs that does different intake on different cases. And, one of the gentlemen was talking had taken a number of Boy Scout cases, and he came to talk to me, and he's like, D, hey man, can I take the day off? I'm like, yeah, sure, man. What's going on? He's like, man, I need a break. I'm just listening to these stories and it's killing me. It's killing me because what if that was my child? What if that would have happened to me? And so, obviously I'm like, hey man, yeah, go take the day off, take the weekend. And that's like, okay. So we've got to do something differently. We need to we're supporting our survivors. Well, how about our own team that's going through this? Okay, are we making sure that they're okay? So again, just as we're living, we're growing, we're learning, and we're just trying to do better every day to make sure that everyone involved in this process is getting what they can, what they need out of it.
Yeah, I love that. And I hear that you're willing to pivot. And that is the greatest skill. I believe it's so much compassion and capacity when like you say, we do what we do until we know better. And then we try to do better. We do better. And
right.
that causes a pivot though. And that, which you're willing to do. And I think that sets, again, the standard very high, because as we continue to emerge with new things happening every day with some of the police violence and the brutality, I see you charging into these situations, willing to take it on, and also being willing to pivot as you need with your teams. You're hiring a lot right now at the firm, which I love. You're beefing up all of your departments so that there is a supportive, benefit and plenty of people to manage this. What are you facing, now that you never thought you would?
What are we facing now that I never thought we would? I'm getting information, I get messages sometimes from folks like, oh, you're just after the money. You don't care about the clients. I'm getting some of those types of messages and information. And it sucks. It sucks to hear that, from certain people. But again, I know that it's ignorance, and I kind of leave it to the side because, look, Kim, I've had over 50,000 clients for the longest time. I mean, money has just never been that much of an issue. But what I found was there's a huge problem in the sexual assault arena. And I don't like the way how many lawyers are addressing it. I don't like the way how certain law firms are just taking money and not giving the right results to clients. Let me just give you one example. And I hate to say it like this, but our clients in this resolution, our clients with our firm are going to be getting an average of over 7 figures in terms of resolution in their settlements. Other folks that went through a lot of the same issues that weren't represented by us are getting like $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. And again, while I know it's not about the money, when I see certain lawyers kind of settling on the cheap or doing things that I don't think that they should do, and it leads to the wrong resolution, it sucks. It's hurtful for me to see those types of things. One of the things that you said that I think is really interesting is about pivoting, is that if you're going to get involved in this business, I just don't believe that you can approach this like your typical traditional lawyer, because the typical traditional lawyer, okay, this is how I file a lawsuit and I move forward and I do this and I do this. And look, again, it's not about you. What's best for your client? Because in some cases, it's not best to file a lawsuit. In some cases, it is better to file Jane Doe. In other cases, the client wants to put their name out there. It's what's best for the client. But what I'm saying is, you have to be flexible. You have to be willing to do things that are in the best interest of the client, not what is on your agenda. What's best for the client, and you have to be flexible to do things that you haven't done before, because it's best for other people that you represent. And many lawyers they don't think that way, and they want to do it the old school way, and sometimes the old school way is not the right way.
Wow, I love hearing it wrapped up that way, because what I know is that as a part of your team and working with those clients, you did invest back in new strategies and new processes. And, for example, attorney Andy Rubenstein, when he prepares for depositions and things that are important as you get towards the end of these cases, he spent time with professionals that we did that together in a Zoom situation. It was phenomenal to help them to really recount the experience in terminology and in words that helped also recognize the losses and the suffering that they've gone through in these years. So I'm only assuming that then is helping that bottom line when these victims have been able to really voice the losses for them. And that's because your firm is willing to invest in them, like you said, put them first so that they can fully express what this has meant to them. And once that is established and once that's out there, you can't deny the magnitude of what they went through.
Kim, I think what is interesting to find out, because, I spoke with a bunch of the other lawyers that resolved their docket cases. I don't know any of the law firm that did what we did with regards to hiring these professionals for the only reason, so that we could educate ourselves, so that we could have a better understanding, so that we have be better able to discuss and understand what our clients were going through. And I just don't understand that, because again, the better understanding that you have of what they're going through and how to discuss it with them, and having more techniques to utilize to be able to kind of get to the root of certain issues, yes, the better you can do your job for your clients and for other clients you're going to represent in the future. So, again, I just think lawyers have to just kind of step back and be prepared to think differently with regards to sexual assault dockets and how you're going to approach them and how you're going to resolve them moving forward. Mm-hmm. And it can be very complicated. I don't want to be critical of other lawyers, because again, many other lawyers did fantastic jobs in these litigations. Mm-hmm. I just think they need to take the time to properly prepare themselves with professionals such as yourself.
Well, thank you for that. You've created, like I said, this platform of Brave Embrace with your amazing marketing team who saw the need to put voice to these stories. You did a series last year and the year before, I believe, on sexual abuse, where you talked, your host, Bobby B, talked to survivors and other professionals in the field and decided with you that this was something that should be done regularly to give voice and allow people to share with the hope of turning that into encouragement and empowerment and ultimately, hopefully, opening them up for healing, which is such a call in life where you can commit your business, your heart, your person, your teams to that venture of healing is truly phenomenal.
Kim, as you and I both know, this problem is not going away anytime soon. Okay. And we as you mentioned earlier, we want to create a safe space for people to talk about issues, to talk about what they've been through, to bring up their concerns. And let's make this a better place for everyone as related to this very awful topic that we have to talk about to make it better for everyone concerned.
We are moving forward fast with thousands of Boy Scout clients. And, this is a unique population of survivors because primarily it's men, male clients, and often they've not felt safe in their life to have voice to this hurt. They've often hidden it from loved ones. And like you said, spouses and family members who say, well, just get over it. So, with every new day, we're facing new issues and new need. And again, I just thank you for being willing to pivot and step into that and learn more and then do more and do better, as we move forward. So when you are kind of planning, as you do often in strategizing, are there other things that, bring you fear as far as the world and some of these legislative issues and some of the culture of political nature? Or do you feel inspired and like kind of on fire to go out and keep making that difference?
The thing that I fear, Kim, is that issues can become too politicized, and we can't just focus on, as a country, at just doing the right thing for our citizens. Mm-hmm. That's one thing that concerns me. Over the last few years, I've seen some of the things that have gone on between the Democrats and the Republicans, and of course our representatives in Congress, and just seeing some of the ugly things that have been done. And I just fear that I haven't seen it yet, but that if the wrong people get power, that some of these things are going to get swept under the rug. It hasn't happened yet. And I think one of the reasons that it hasn't happened yet, because attorneys such as myself are very actively involved to make sure, hey, look, let's get this out there. Let's make sure your constituents need to know that you are supportive of survivors. And we're against these greedy companies and these bastards that have done these things. And we really want to do something to invoke and to create change, and making sure that we hold people accountable. And what does excite me, Kim, about this is the fact that I know that we're going to help people. I know that with the help of people like yourself, that, and you and I have talked about this off camera, that we want to put on seminars for other lawyers to learn about proper ways to maybe engage with clients, with social workers to get more involved, to empower survivors. We just have a responsibility that I don't know exactly what we're gonna do, but we're gonna make some good things happen for folks. I just know that for sure.
Yeah, I see it too. And I'm thrilled to be a part of it, honored to work with such amazing colleagues throughout the firm that are committed to the same and are willing to also bear their own, vulnerability in that, hey, we're all in this together. And so we can do better together. Well, I appreciate your time today so much. It's really awesome for me to be able to sit here and to lead these conversations, but also just to engage with you to see that commitment on screen, hear it from your voice, knowing that this is the trajectory of your company and what you want to see for change in the world. And I really appreciate that.
Well, Kim, you are welcome. And let me say this. I want to thank you. I want to thank you for overcoming the things that you have overcome, for you to help us set this up, for you to help us put this thing together, and to put yourself out there on a limb so that you can help others the way that we're helping them. It's great. I love talking to you about these issues. I love the things that we're planning to do, the things we have done already for our clients, which is just tremendous. And I'm just so excited for the future, and you're a huge part of that.
I appreciate it. I'll end with a couple of things. Recently, we reunited a mom with her children that had been removed from her care due to some situations in her life. Part of that, the opioid struggle and some human trafficking abuses. And it was so amazing to see that real life impact for her and for her children, and to help her get back on her feet, for her to know she had support, to answer questions, to be there as a supporter of her. So that is a real honor. And boy, you can feel good about a day when that kind of thing happens. Secondly, you're about to celebrate your 20 years, and next month we're celebrating, the 20th anniversary of the tragedy at September 11th. And so I also am honored to see that we are still moving forward with the torch of healing, brokenness and bringing hope to those people that have had losses through victimizations on any scale. And so again, I thank you for that. And as I close, do you have any parting words?
Yeah, the one thing I'll say, guys, thank you for listening. Please give us your comments and let us know how we can make things better. If you have been victimized in some way or fashion, we encourage you, please, to speak up, to talk to someone about it, get in touch with us. Let us know how we can help you or assist you, whether or not you're a client, yes or no, it doesn't matter. We just want to help and help push you in the right direction. And if there's any questions that you want to ask myself or any of the folks here at the law firm with regards to any of the issues that we've talked about or something else related, please do not hesitate to get in touch with us. We'd love to speak to you about it.
That approachable message, so consistent throughout every facet of the firm. So thank you. These stories and the things we talked about, darkness found in really difficult moments, but the goal here is to bring hope, encouragement, and to seek that resilience and to honor the brave in each of us. So until next time, be brave.